Hello again, everyone. I'm Don Phelps, and welcome to Huntsville Schools News and Views. Each week, we profile a different school in the Huntsville City School System through the eyes of students that go to school there, and also hear from the principal. This week, we're on a campus of a school that resembles something more like a college campus rather than a high school. But I'm talking about Johnson High School.
Hello, my name is Adrian Troop.
And I'm Daphne Good. And we're seniors here at James Oliver Johnson High School.
Johnson High is located in northwest Huntsville on 50 acres and opened of August of '72. Johnson High was opened as an open space school and has approximately 264,000 square feet. Welcome to the home of the Jaguars.
This year's theme of the yearbook is Within the Halls of Johnson High, a familiar line in our school alma mater.
So join us as we guide you through the halls of Johnson High.
Open ranks, left, right, left, left, right, march. Left, right, left, left, right, left, face.
Our ROTC cadets rank 6th in the Marine units throughout the Southeast. Each morning, the flag unit posts the flags at the front of our campus. During this school year, they have performed 3,387 community service hours, won 24 trophies, participated in 8 drill meets, and 3 rifle matches.
Johnson High School is really excited about its newest program, which is the 9th grade academy. The theme for the program is Bridge to the Future.
The academy was implemented to allow a sense of belonging with the Johnson student body. The academy has its own administrator and guidance counselor. The counselor oversees an academic mentoring program in which senior students tutor 9th grade students.
Approximately 200 freshmen are in the academy, and each one is taking 2 math classes during this school year. Before the academy, students only took 1 math class during a school year. Our math teachers are trained through the Alabama Math Science Technology Initiative. In fact, one of our math teachers is working with some members of Jaguar football team to prepare a fireworks display.
It's all the same thing we were doing in class, parabolas. When we get to the highest point, which is what they're looking for so that everyone can see it, that's what they wanted to explode.
This display will celebrate the team's season. The Jags won the city co-championship.
Setting up the problem, 12x equals negative 42.
The academy also has its own reading and math lab, the New Century Educational Technology Lab. Students come to this lab for math and reading remediation, online math experiences, and to complete research. Students in the academy experience many genres of literature. Today's students are beginning a poetry unit called Found Poem.
All the world's a stage, and all men and women merely players.
Our teachers embrace technology, which is used throughout the school. We have 5 computer labs and a career technical lab in the 9th grade academy. The students in the career technical lab research careers and prepare for life after high school.
We're going to put a bar graph in here to show your checking account checkbook register on here.
In this personal business and finance class, students are using PowerPoint for the preparation of income taxes and financial portfolios. In this class, students are allowed to work together with their peers to complete lab work requirements.
Students enrolled in Family Dynamics always look forward to the unit on foods.
Today we're making homemade lasagna from scratch.
They enjoy learning about nutrition and how to look good through proper diet and exercise.
Students, we're going to use onion, meat, ground beef, actually ground chuck because it's lower in fat. Okay, let's see what it looks like.
We've done a great job. Teamwork.
Madame Michelle's French 1 students are enjoying cultural studies today. They are tasting French foods.
Okay, the last piece.
This day is always a special treat for her students. French 2 and French 3 students have been studying the Impressionistic art period. Other students are trying their hand at becoming sculptors. They are using clay to mold gargoyles, which were in architectural fashion in France on top of buildings. Another group of students are making sachets to enrich their studies of the perfume industry from southern France, where such flowers are grown.
Buenos dias, estudiantes. Buenos dias. Okay, today you are going to create some beautiful designs.
In Spanish classes, students are designing molas, artistic designs created by the Indians of Panama, Central America. Johnson is well known for its International Magnet Program. Our prestigious Magnet Program concentrates on space science and international social studies. The goal of the Magnet Department is to develop a sense of global perspective and attain skills in the international marketplace by learning to communicate with people of other cultures.
This year, the students were introduced to the computer lab and new computer software to aid the teaching of Russian words and phrases.
Пожалуйста, говорите медленнее.
Students express themselves creatively while still covering the material by making posters, writing original dialogues, and filming Russian skits.
Его зовут Kenny. Он очень дружелюбный.
In class, students explore the German culture using an interactive learning approach.
Spiel ich mit dir, manch bunte Blume, sind an dem Strand meine Mutter hat.
Students get involved in producing theatrical productions.
Ich möchte gerne essen Hamburger und Pommes essen unser Nachtisch an Schaffe-Eis bitte.
And live weather broadcasts that are entirely presented in the foreign language.
The human anatomy is pretty comparable to this. There are some differences because this is a member of the carnivora and we're not.
In science labs, students perform many experiments, and today's experiment is dissecting a fox.
If you were going to look at another mammal that had a lot of similarities, believe it or not, a pig is a good one that has a lot of similarities to humans.
Our teachers make great use of the active board. Biology students are learning the stages of mitosis.
Our distance learning lab is where the students from New Century and Columbia High Schools join our students in the Advanced Placement European History class. Educational videos are also utilized to give students a visual image of the time periods and other materials that are covered. For the last 7 years, Johnson's choir has received superior ratings at local and state festivals. They were also the 2003 sweepstake winners at the Orlando, Florida Heritage Choral Festival. The combined choirs perform an original composition every year during the school's commencement exercise.
The J.L. Johnson Jaguar Band, also known as the Mighty Sounds of the South, features dynamic marching band, concert band, and jazz bands. Recognized in the finals of the National High Stepping Competition in fall of '06, this 110-piece unit is the highlight at most of Johnson's athletic games, community parades, festivals, and conventions. All of the events that take place at JLJ are in our yearbook. Here, students learn how to use publication technology and camera equipment.
Thank you for touring the halls of Johnson High, where we are all encouraged to make the connection to ensure that we build bridges, not walls.
Johnson High is the bridge to the future.
Within the walls of Johnson High School, as you can see, a lot going on there. Very, very active school. And joining me now is the principal of Johnson High School, Dr. Fredonia Williams, and thanks so very much for joining us.
Morning.
And, you know, we go way back to when you first started at Johnson, and it's hard to believe we're sitting there 6 years ago. And you had so many goals, so many things you wanted to do there. Tell me, give me a sense of how you've gone about accomplishing those goals and what kind of things you've accomplished in the 6 years you've been there.
Thank you for having me this morning. I think probably the first goal that you and I talked about when I was there in, I can't believe it was July of 2001. And the main goal at that time was to get Johnson's academic program back on track. And at the end of my first year, when I received the phone call that said, Dr. Williams, how did Johnson do this? And I said, how did Johnson do what? And they said, well, you cleared. During that time, you either were clear or you were alert or that kind of status. And we were very successful as a faculty and as a parent group and as a community group to implement some things that first year there. We were able to get our school back on course. And over the past 5 or 6 years, we continued that trend. Sometimes it gets a little bit rocky. You have to make sure that pieces are back in place again. But I've enjoyed my 6 years there at Johnson. Seen a lot of things happen in 6 years.
I remember you talking about expectations, and you talked to the students about that you had high expectations for them and they needed to have high expectations for themselves.
Exactly. During our first year, we had 5 rules, and the last rule that we still implement at Johnson is that you have to be responsible for your own reactions, your own behavior. I like to say to our students is like, please, no evidence. That simply means if you go in the cafeteria, go in the classroom, there's no trash there when you walk in, there should be none when you leave. I often tell our teachers, kids can't rise to low expectations. So we have to have expectations that are high enough for students to rise to meet the goal. We can't keep lowering expectations. A lot of times that gets me in trouble because I have expectations and people say, well, you know, they can't do this. Yeah, they can. And I firmly believe that kids can rise to expectations, and we just have to put the things in place to ensure that they do that. And we feel like we've done that.
And one of the things you have put in place, and congratulations, you've won an award for, is a 9th grade academy this year. I mean, people are talking about this program, and it's a wonderful program. For the people that may not be familiar with it, explain a little bit about the 9th grade academy.
When I came into Johnson in 2001, I was looking at the retention rate for 9th graders, and our school was no different from any school in the country. The 9th grade is a very difficult year for students. They're transitioning from elementary to middle school to high school, and the rate across the country is high. You lose about 5 out of 10 freshmen. When I saw the retention rate for 9th graders, it was evident something had to be done. So throughout these years, we've looked at what can we do to ensure that our 9th graders go to 10th grade, they go to 11th grade, and that they eventually graduate. And so for 2 years, we've looked at a program that's done through High Schools at Work, of which we are a part of the initiative. And that program was a 9th grade academy. And what it simply meant was that you would have what we now call a smaller learning community. And we'd have our kids in the same part of the building. They would have common teachers. They'd have common classes. And we could just kind of nurture them a little bit better. The key for our 9th graders is that because we're on block scheduling, our students were taking 1 math class. With this academy, every 9th grader has had 2 years of math. So when my 9th graders finish in a couple of weeks, in the fall, I will have approximately 200 more students ready to take the grad exam. That's the biggest piece for us, is having more kids in math classes.
And you changed to the block program.
Changed to the block the first year that I was at Johnson. I think this had been discussed for a number of years. It took professional development with our staff, and we moved from 7 periods a day to 4 periods a day in the year of, I think it was 2002, 2003 school year. And so our students have 96 minutes in a class. They'll have 4 classes the first semester, and then the second semester they'll have 4 new classes. So in reality, Johnson students can end their high school career with 32 credits, where in Huntsville City only requires 24. I've given my kids a chance, 32 chances to get 24 credits, and we think that's a plus for them.
And it seems like you have them there for a longer period of time, you can go into more depth, and it's not going back and trying to relearn.
For lab classes, for computer classes, it's really wonderful. We try to change the activity every 30 minutes. So for a child who has a shorter attention span in 30 minutes, you're doing something different. For lab classes, I know in the old family consumer science class, in a regular 7-period-a-day class, you would set your ingredients out on the first day, get everything measured, put them in the bowl, in the refrigerator. Next day, you come in and bake. Well, now you can put everything out, bake, eat, same day. Kids like that.
Yeah, the instant recognition and reward for what they're doing.
Exactly.
They can see exactly what they're doing. What are the things you want people to know about Johnson High School? I mean, I've heard misconceptions over the years about Johnson High School and what goes on in your high school. This is a perfect opportunity to try to break down some of those misconceptions, because every school has them.
When I came to Huntsville in 2001 to take the position of principal of Johnson High School, I had done my research and I knew all the negative misconceptions out there. I had come to the campus in June to look over the campus, came back again in July and looked over the campus. Beautiful facility. People somehow in the community think that it's a rundown facility. They think our kids don't care. They think there are a number of discipline problems. That kids aren't successful. And I think if there's any one thing I'd like to leave with the Huntsville community, this is a thriving school. These are teenagers like kids in any other school. Yes, we have our problems, so does School B. But these kids care, their parents care, they do well. When I participated in a college sign day for a Johnson student to go to Cornell, that's a plus. When I hear a parent say to me, we went to Howard University this weekend and my daughter has done exceptionally well at Howard, and guess what? Her sister is now being offered a scholarship. That's a plus. Our kids are successful just as other teenagers are. So I really think that if the misconceptions are still there, we encourage people to come into our building and see what's going on. On May 9th, we'll have a statewide visitation day because of this award we just won. Any school in the state who wants to see how can you work with ninth graders in a ninth grade academy within the surrounding perimeters can come to Johnson between 9 and 2 and see what goes on within the halls of Johnson High School.
Oh, that's wonderful. And, you know, talk about great accomplishments. You got a wonderful international magnet program there.
Yes, that program has been there for a number of years. And when people hear of a magnet school, they think of one of our sister schools because it's drama. Johnson has a magnet program for international business. Our students take world history classes, they take Russian, they have German classes, and so when they're finishing up their career at Johnson as a part of the magnet program, they should be ready to go into any college and look at international business, because this is what this program is designed for. When I walk into a Russian class or a German class, the students are learning not just how to speak Russian, or how just not to speak German. They're learning about the German culture. How can they leave Huntsville and go and live in Germany and survive? What are the customs? What do the German people expect of them? So that's one of our very important programs. The other program of which I'm extremely proud is our ROTC program.
Oh, yes.
I think they have logged probably 3,000 hours just this school year in community service. You probably see them at every patriotic program there is here in Huntsville. When fraternities and sororities or other groups come to Huntsville to do a regional conference, Johnson gets asked to come do the flag presentation. They came back this weekend with 7 trophies. This is pretty close to 40 they've won for this school year. Absolutely fantastic group of young people.
Hurricane Katrina, a lot of devastation, a lot of damage, a lot of people displaced, but there's a silver lining to part of that at Johnson High School, as you kind of benefited from that.
It blew me a band director. When I came to Johnson, I was interviewing every summer for a band director, and had just posted a band director's position on the day after Katrina. And this young man walked in and said, I hear you have a band position open. I thought, this can't be. And he said, we just came up this weekend. My wife's family is here. We're part of Katrina, and I'm a band director. I have my own band. I'm a professional musician. And I thought, this has to be a gift from heaven. And he has done an absolutely fantastic job changing our program. We now have a jazz band, a brass band, percussion section. Our band is still called the Mighty Sounds of the South. We get invited to come participate at activities at A&M. We've gone to local car dealerships on the weekends to play. Someone's always asking for Johnson's band to come play. So yes, out of Katrina, I have a band director.
And they're great ambassadors for the school.
Yes, they are.
You've also added a lot of courses in your 6 years that you've been there.
Yes, when we moved from 7 periods a day, Don, it was important that we had to have more classes. We've added what's called career explorations for our 9th graders. We added Bible as literature and Bible as history, and that class was open to only juniors and seniors. And this was a result of 2 teachers saying, we'd like to teach this, a history person and an English person. And they combined, and for 9 weeks the kids take Bible as history, and the other 9 weeks the kids take Bible as literature. We have put back into the curriculum our magazine class for a number of years. Kids didn't have enough room in their schedule, I suppose, to take that. That's back on the schedule. Last year we did what was called creative foods. We did fashion design, in which our teacher worked with A&M to do a fashion show. And I think my kids probably won the fashion show with creative designs.
Wonderful.
Working right there with college students.
Oh, my goodness. And I don't think a lot of people know that there are a lot of other schools that draw on some of the outstanding people you have at Johnson High School with distance learning, that they're actually borrowing some of the resources from Johnson to help better their schools.
Yes, I have an AP European teacher who does this class by distance learning, and in the past she's been with either New Century or with Columbia, and it also works for any other school in the area wherein you have small numbers, and we offer the class, and School B can have their kids in the class, and we do this by distance learning. I see this happening probably more so in the future, because when numbers are small, we like to be able to offer kids all these choices, and we can do this through distance learning.
Well, congratulations. You've just done an incredible job at Johnson High School. We're proud of Johnson High School, and we're proud of you, and thank you once again for taking time out.
Thank you, and I'm proud of our faculty and our students and our parents who worked really hard to be sure that we're where we are today.
Don't forget the principal either.
Thank you.
That's this edition of Huntsville Schools News and Views. If you have an event you'd like us to cover or put on the air, just drop us a line at info@etvhuntsville.com.